The first thing I need to say is thank you for coming. Because I can remember the times that I used to call and 3 people used to show up. I can remember the times when we didn't have pennies to rub together to put people on airplanes, buses, and all the rest of that. I can remember when some of us started out, we were sleeping in cheap hotels with roaches was infested. I can remember before then when we was actually sleeping on people's floors and in their garages. And Humdeer, Linda, and a number of other comrades that's not here right now was violating their parole on a regular basis, going to far-off states talking about we needed a voice. And we need to speak in our own voice. Excuse me, can you bring that little kid a little closer because she's going to keep me from cussing? You know, because I need somebody to guide me because my mouth, you know, it's like if you bang your hand with a hammer, you generally don't say, excuse me, ouch, it didn't hurt. You know, it hurts. So if all of us is gathered and we're getting ready to go in there, it's our unity that make us powerful, right? And y'all don't recognize that the journey you on is a sacred journey. It's probably reserved for how do you move forward the civil and human rights of incarcerated and formerly incarcerated people. Y'all probably don't recognize over the course of the last 5 years, y'all have enabled more people to vote since 1964. You did it in Florida. You did it in Louisiana. You just did it in North Carolina, and you did it in California. So we're responsible for putting on a couple million people on the voting rolls. So y'all don't know how strong y'all are, right? And they can only win if they can somehow divide us. When we started, all of us are Nunn, and Alex was there. And Alex put on something that had never heard. The original planks of All of Us Are None included, stop deporting juveniles. I ain't never forgot that, and when he said it, it was in 2003. Before everybody else caught up with that. So at a certain point, when I'm speaking from the perspective that my journey and my walk for civil and human rights started on October the 22nd, 1981. So if you don't know that somebody dreamed about you, you just met one. I dreamed about you before you gathered. I dreamed about you when some of us were still loaded. You know, and by the way, I told myself that I wasn't going to smoke no more weed until we won. And I've been waiting 32 years. Y'all need to fight harder. You know, and I may need to revise that. I ain't gonna smoke no weed until I retire. But, you know, in saying that, I need to say we have these moments where people think that we have lost. Hang on, where's my sign? This is the sign that I had made for me. Right? When I made this sign, because I know when everybody was still eating barbecue in June, these folks was rejecting the notion that we should be able to vote on slavery in California. Right? That's what they was doing. You know, we don't even know who it was that was voting because they didn't even show up to vote. Right? So, like, if they would have gave us that opportunity, it would have been the first time that descendants of chattel slavery would ever been given a vote on the question of enslavement. And some people say that we lost. I'm not one of those people. I said we just now beginning to fight. Because when a lot of people say that we losing, I'm saying, I done been punched in the mouth before. It didn't mean I lost the fight. It just means I got punched in the mouth. And if I've been doing this since 1981, I've been punched in the mouth, the top of the head, kicked in the balls, all of that. And I'm still here fighting. Right? So the reality of it is, when I think about my fight, I think about it took us 3 times to get them to stop shackling pregnant women. We just didn't get it right away. Right? It took us multiple arguments, multiple efforts to get people to think about stopping long-term solitary confinement and torture in Pelican Bay. Right? It took us a long time to actually get them to even consider the notion that they should close anything down that was doing juveniles. So when I say welcome to this space, I probably should say welcome to this fight. Right? Because the things that we fight for right now are not new in nature. It's really not. So for all of y'all that think that this fight was over and that we had won a long time ago, then tell me how come women are still fighting for their rights. You know, tell me how come gay people are still having their privacy invaded. And tell me how come I'm still making a demand that they end slavery. And when we was here in June and they was doing that, the arguments that they made in opposition, I could have heard that. Good job. I could have heard that argument in 1850. So at a certain point, when I say welcome to the fight, welcome to the struggle, welcome to your beliefs that something could be different. Now, how many of y'all got a cell phone with you? Raise your hand if you got a cell phone with you. Right? The way that we become great, you can start practicing that stuff right now. I want you to text somebody that you know. Do all y'all know how to text? Hold it, like, hey, shit. We got people older than y'all here and older than me. They having problems with that. Right? So the way that we do that is if we want to expand, text somebody you know. Text your girlfriend, your boyfriend, or your partner. And if you don't do that, your mama or your daddy probably still love you. Text them and let them know that today you here for them. Have I cussed yet? One time counted, right? She's doing an excellent job. I mean, she's restraining me because what I recognize is that I'm living on borrowed time and that time belongs to her. The land that you stand on wasn't only stolen from other people. It also was stolen from the children that hasn't yet been born. So that theft is complete. Have anybody in this crowd didn't steal anything from anybody? Because like every once in a while, 2 minutes, Paul, because 2 minutes, Oscar, because I got 2 people that are trying to restrain me. I was asking you, had you stole anything? And I think most of us have. And it don't have to be the material stuff that we steal. It can be the peace of mind from the neighbors in our community. It can be the peace of mind of our parents. It can be the peace of mind of our children. We're taking stuff all the time, but the only thing that we want to be accountable to is the peoples that are practicing capitalism. How about being accountable to the people who are practicing community, to the people who are practicing family, to the people who are practicing stuff that actually give you more than they take away? See, because I stand here because somebody let me sleep on their couch when I got out. You getting ready to go in there and tell those people to give somebody $1,300 so they can actually stay in a motel for at least a week, as opposed to the $200 that they've been giving away since 1973 or 1974. So I don't know about y'all. My kids' shoes cost more than $200. You know, because they like those Nikes and, you know. Man, whatever happened to the cheap stuff? She's doing a good job. So, like, what I need to say is welcome to Sacramento. And we've been coming here 8 years. Welcome to the bus ride, even when it's uncomfortable. Welcome to getting on the plane when you flew in from some place to come here. Because I can remember, and you know, I helped ban the box in the state of California. There's 267 million people live in the jurisdiction under policy that I helped advocate for and help push forward. But that wasn't the victory. The victory was teaching people to feel like they was entitled to feed themselves, to feel like they were entitled to have a roof over their head, to feel like they was entitled to take care of their kids. The greatest victory is you. And being here, it's not just banning the box. It's the continuation of struggle that will carry us long after I'm gone. That's what I know is the greatest victory. Because it's stuff that we haven't even begun to fight for that I don't even see coming. That's the greatest victory. And me and George, we've been hanging out for 25 years or better. So some of the homies that's here, me and 90, I ain't never beat 90 any place. He generally got there first. So for some of us, our sons are not rising. I'm 70 years old, and I'm in the winter of my life. And I challenge y'all to work harder than me. You know, the other day I had to break in my own house, right? I left my keys in there. And I picked the lock because I used to do stuff like that. That was the easy part. The hard part was getting his leg up over that ledge. That's the hard part. So, I'm gone, Paul. You ain't got to come up here and get me.
Give a round of applause.
All of us!
Or none.
All of us!
Or none.